Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to Single in the City, where kings and queens
Big Queens.
Everett.
I'm Jokeetra.
Nick Rains, dating coach.
And we are the love team, the trio of Single in the City. We've been doing this since August of 2019. Man, December 1st. Y'all, today is?
Today is December 1st.
Right.
What? No.
You froze.
Yes.
I think you froze for a minute.
What does that mean? December 1st. What does that mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. December 1st. Today is the celebration of World AIDS Day.
Yes.
This is the celebration of World AIDS Day. And red is the color of World AIDS Day. And we
Got the red on.
Rocking the red today. So
y'all look good in your red.
Well, you do too.
And it's
you
Christmas.
Look so bad yourself.
It is.
It's Christmas time, y'all. It's Christmas time too.
Holiday. So just to make folks aware of World AIDS Day is to bring recognition to those who are living with HIV and AIDS and who have died from that disease, and also people that are living with and facing the stigma and discrimination around that. So we want to acknowledge and recognize it as well, and just send our positive thoughts and vibes out, as it relates to that. So again, we got on the red. We rocking the red today in honor of World AIDS Day. So that's why we have on our red. All right. So for those of you who are joining us, if you would, in the comments, let us know where you're tuning in from. Put your city and your state in the comments so we can shout you out. Like, love, and share this post. Like, love, and share. We have a lively discussion tonight with several topics that we're going to tackle. And this is an interactive live, so we want to hear from you. So let us know where you're tuning in from. Put it in the comments so we can shout you out.
And can I say, I don't know who came up with these questions, but kudos to whoever came up with the questions because they are really great questions. They're so much so that I even took some time to write some notes out because they're thought provoking. So which one of y'all came up with it? Because normally I would try to take credit if it was me, but whoever came up with them, I appreciate them.
I think it was a collaborative effort.
Yes, collaborative effort.
Yes.
But Nicole, I also think today is Giving Tuesday too.
Today is also Giving Tuesday. So the focus of that is to give to the nonprofit of your choice to help them do the great and wonderful things that they're doing in the world. So my Giving Tuesday organization is Big Bend Habitat for Humanity, which I am currently the president of. So you want to support safe, decent, affordable housing here in Leon and Gaston counties, Florida. Habitat.org is where you go to contribute towards that work. So check us out.
Mine is St. Jude.
All right.
Mine is
Anybody else have a Giving Tuesday?
Yeah.
St. Jude?
Yeah, mine is St. Jude. Right.
Nice.
I think I've been spreading mine out all throughout with giving today from people that have tagged me. But I recently became a board of directors member for the Bond Community Health Center. So definitely need to give to that one.
Okay. Good deal. All right. So we got Mr. Marcus Boston chiming in from Chicago.
So Marcus.
Hey.
Glad to have you on.
Yes. Hope you're well.
I see he has the cover of his book on the screen. So
it's his profile pic.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, let's dive in. So, question number 1. How does colorism affect dating in the Black community?
Colorism. So can we, when we speak of colorism, I know that people probably automatically know, but can we just define colorism just so, we'll all be on one page when we talk about colorism? Hi,
Felicia. So, and not that I looked it up, so this is the definition according to Nicole. To me, it's light skin, dark skin, and particularly in the black or African American community, and how there's a favoritism towards light skin or more fair complexion person, whether that be male or female. And there's, I think, throughout our history here in America, there's been colorism issues where you've heard about the paper bag test, where if you were darker than a paper bag, then you were not accepted, or you were considered less than, and things of that nature. So, someone actually asked us to cover this topic a few lives ago. And so we thought it would be a good one just to bring up, to kind of see where we are in 2020.
Yeah, great definition too, Nicole. That was good.
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully, if viewers want to share, like if they have a quick story that they just want to give, because it'd be great to hear some stories about it, because we know that it's out there. I think it reaches back to slavery, times. And hopefully that's something that, we can really openly discuss. Don't really know if it's going to change anything, but hopefully it will, because I've had phases of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you said, it goes back to back in history when the light or fair-skinned slaves were allowed to work in the house, in the master's house, and the darker slaves were actually tasked to work out in the field. And so it started that separation right then about who's looking better, or who may be better than, because you may have a higher position because you're closer to the master than the ones who are working out in the field. So definitely started back then, and also been perpetuated throughout our history ever since then. So, which is sad. So we definitely got to kind of work on and try to break those things.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, you got a story? You want to start us out?
Well, no, I really don't have a story, but I actually have been kind of chatting with some friends about this topic, and some of the thoughts around, and I probably heard it more from men than women, but you hear dark-skinned brothers saying dark-skinned brothers weren't in style at a particular point in time, or light-skinned brothers have gone out of style. More of a joshing, or a sense of humor to it, but I think there's some reality to that as well.
Yeah, I was watching Ready to Love with Nephew Tommy, and there was a situation where a darker skinned lady was saying that she didn't want to date a lighter skinned guy on the show because it brought back memories of her ex. And when that was brought to Nephew Tommy's attention, he was like, we got to get past that. And he went on to really talk about how it is an issue in the African-American community. So whoever told you to let's discuss it, let's discuss it. What did Marcus Thomas say?
Yeah, that's true what he said too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, Marcus.
It's true.
So thank you for bringing that up. That's exactly what happened a lot of times, and that's why they was allowed a lot of times to work in the house, because it actually was the master was their daddy. So that is true.
Yeah. But I know the phases that I've been through, probably because of my ex was light skinned, and then the experience wasn't the best. So I was like, I don't want to talk to no more light skin. Then I ended up talking to a darker skinned guy, and something wasn't going well up here. So then I was like, you know what? It's not a matter of skin complexion. It's more so on how they treat me, and, I had the little Martin Luther King Jr. speech where it's more about the content, of their character. So that's kind of where I am now, is that, we do talk about, I'm not going to lie, when we see a tall, dark skinned, built brother, we do talk about the chocolate, but at the end of the day, when it's you dating someone and you choosing a mate, I think that really shouldn't be the case. So I'm interested to hear other people's stories on that, because I know in college, there were a lot of athletes that people would say that they were looking for either a lighter skinned girl or a young lady that was, or white a white girl because that was more like a trophy to them. It was a prize, and they didn't really want to talk to dark-skinned girls. So I hope that people will chime in.
Yeah, Keitra, I think it has a lot to do with probably psychological programming, because I've seen, just being a psychology major, well, that was my minor, but also just being in that field, I've seen several different experiments when you would have a dark-skinned girl, and she's probably about 4 or 5, and they would ask her who's pretty, and she would point to the white girl, and then they would ask her, and this have nothing to do with looks, but they'll just say who's smart, and she will point to also the white girl or the fair-skinned girl, and then ask her, well, who's not smart? And she will point to someone that looks like herself. So this has to be some type of psychological program as well. Because you got a 4 or 5-year-old saying that, and I doubt her parents are actually saying things like that. It got to be some type of programming, and I know it comes from a lot from the mainstream media and what they hear and also what they say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there have been a lot of studies that have been done,
right,
around that. And you even see, how people gravitate towards, the Kim Kardashian looking, Rihanna, Beyonce, and I can't think of too many darker skinned ladies, but I know Naomi Campbell, just beautiful, Iman, but it always seems as if they have to have, you say what now, Nicole? Okay. It seemed like they have to have some unique feature that just kind of stands out, where it just can't be, they're just beautiful African-American women, but people always have to say, oh, she's pretty for a chocolate girl. They have to say something like that. You say what now?
Which is so wrong, because I mean, it's like, really, you trying to give a compliment, but you're really demeaning their color. When you say you're beautiful for a dark-skinned girl, what do you mean? I mean, dark-skinned women are just as pretty as light-skinned women. We all are beautiful. So to say that's actually a backhand slap to a dark-skinned woman when you say something like that. Like, dark-skinned women can't be pretty as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and maybe this is me kind of playing devil's advocate, if you will, but yeah, it appears that they're and Nick, you might want to give your on this as well, but there are more brothers that go for white women, and I think that might be part of the colorism, because they don't necessarily maybe can't get that light-skinned woman, so now they go white, right? I think also there's a trophyism, if you will, associated with maybe having a white woman. I don't necessarily see that so much with Black women and white men. Not to say that Black women don't get with white men, but it seems like it's a bit more prevalent with Black men, dating or marrying white women.
Yeah, I would say that's true. One thing I have heard, and especially knowing several athletes, is that some of them feel like that to be in those type of social circles, that they have to have a white woman, or they're more accepted if they have a white woman in those type of circles. So you have that. And then you have the ones that may pick maybe not a white woman, but like you said before, a light-skinned woman. And the reason why they may pick her because of the videos. If you look at the videos that you see, the people that you normally see, or the main girl in the video, is mostly she's light-skinned. And so they may look at that as that is the trophy, and that's what everybody's doing. So I want to do that because I want to be accepted. And I don't have anything until I have what they show in the videos. Because, when people, just like in those same videos, they have cars, they have houses and money and stuff like that. So that's what some people aspire to be, along with that woman that they showing in the video. I have it all now that I have this.
Mm-hmm. So, well, that's why I wanted us to define colorism, just to be kind of clear, because I always just kind of looked at colorism more as us discriminating against each other in our own race, and that's what I was thinking in terms of dating, with the light skin and dark skin. I think when, people want to date Caucasian, or guys want to pick for the trophy, that's a whole nother, topic to explore, in and of itself. But I think now we are seeing more African-American women date outside their race, too, and for many different reasons,
So So we got a few comments. Javon said light complexion women are degraded so much too.
I agree with that, Javon.
All
I agree
right.
with that.
And then we
But
got
okay, when he says degraded, Javon, are you speaking degraded amongst our race or degraded just, society as a whole? If he could kind of expound on that.
it's a she. So Javon, give us
Oh, she.
a little more clarity on that.
Mhm.
We got Dan the Man Richardson on. He said it's the same for both males and females.
Mhm.
Now, what's the same?
And then I think as it relates to dating white or marrying white.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
Yeah.
he's referring to. So Dan, give us some clarity on that if that's not what you're talking about. And then Gail said, unfortunately, colorism is a worldwide problem. People, especially women, bleach their skin or whitening beauty products. Media then reinforces the notion lighter skin is more beautiful, which is absolutely true.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to someone today about, Dove, the Dove commercial, when they had the darker skinned African-American woman. And then they said that if you use Dove, you'll become lighter, so that's why I don't use Dove. Black folks, let's stop giving them our money. But yeah, I mean, it's the whole notion that lighter is better. You know what I mean? And we've kind of bought into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gail made a good point, and I agree, Jakitra, because I also seen in research that it was a woman. And Nicole, I actually watched that video that you sent, and it's in that video. The woman actually was bleaching her skin, and she said that she had more favorable people that treated her differently. Some of the same people when she actually was bleaching her skin, and she was a little bit lighter. And so when she stopped doing it, though, some of those same people also said it wasn't so favorable for her when she stopped. So she got different treatment when she was lighter skinned. But again, that's perpetuated. It's a worldwide thing, so to Gail's point.
But when we're talking about dating, specifically dating within our community, I guess I'm just trying to still figure out, how that exists, what the experiences are. Has anyone experienced it? Does anyone prefer a lighter skinned over a darker skin?
I personally heard some people that I'm close to say that, they may be talking about, when we talking about males here, and we saying, hey man, I met this one female, she's bad, this, that, and the other. And then they would make a comment like, and she light skinned. And I'm like, and like, that's a plus. You see what I'm saying? I heard that, and that's kind of offensive. I think when I hear
that, like they got a red bone.
Yes, red bone. That too. And so I'm like, and she a red bone, so that's a plus, like also. So it's like, and they say it like, like there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's because of society and the psychological program.
So you never thought to ask them what makes her so special because she's light skinned or she a red bone? What does that mean to you? What does that do for you?
No, I just know it's a preference. And so I just know it's a preference. And I know many of them that's saying it, they don't really realize that it's actually they may say it's something good for them and it's a preference for them, but it's also slapping the darker women's face. Like you're pretty much putting them on a scale that they're better than, the rest of the women that may be darker skinned.
So Marcus, if you have a friend that loves red bones, I would love to know if you know why he specifically loves red bones. Like, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know some people refer to the like pecan tan, they do classify every like complexion, they give it a term. And I do think it's like what we mentioned earlier, that does just go back to slavery days and our mind just needs to be reprogrammed. But sometimes I don't know do you think that it'll ever change? I mean, because people just like what they like, or that's what they have, always dated. Thank you, Marcus. And report back to us. That's your homework assignment.
Yeah, I think it's a societal thing for sure. I think we have to move beyond that, and really get to know a person, have those conversations. Because you can meet a light-skinned, Black person that is a garbage human being. You know what I'm saying? So
I met one. I was married to one.
Okay. So, I think we have to move beyond that. So you're right. There's a deprogramming and reprogramming that needs to take place in our psyche around that.
Right. And I think that does start with conversation. And I think that starts with actually bringing that stuff that they're saying from the unconscious to the conscious, because a lot of times they're saying this unconsciously. They don't even realize what they're saying until you actually, like Jaquitra is saying, hey, let's have a conversation about that. Why you feel that you like red bones better, or why you feel like red bones may be better. And you may catch a whole bunch of them that say it off guard because nobody never asked that question. But it's bringing that unconscious comment to the conscious where they really like, you have to take responsibility for what you said and really, do a soul searching to see why you really do like this.
Yeah, because sometimes, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, men, but sometimes you say things, because that's all you've heard someone else say. Oh man, I got me a bad red bone. So then you take that on and be like, well, he got him a bad red bone, so I want me a bad red bone.
Right. I guess that's the standard, right? There's somebody I look up to. They telling me that's the standard. That's what I see on the video. So I feel like that's the standard, like you said, but it's programming.
Well, you know what? The next time I hear somebody say, oh man, she's fine for a dark-skinned girl or a chocolate girl, I hope I have the time to stop right in my tracks.
You got to make time.
Why you couldn't just have left it out and say, oh, she's fine? You know what I mean? Why I gotta be for dark skin? I done seen some fine, just as fine dark skins as I've seen light skins. Why I gotta be like that? And I know I even have to check myself too, because I'm guilty of when I see, like I said, a chocolate brother and be like, dang, but so I have to check myself.
Right.
So David brought out a point about his ex's paternal grandmother treated her less kind than her brother, who was lighter, and the grandmother was darker than both of them. She was from Louisiana. I know other older women, at least, that think that lighter skin was better. So, the thought is, if we're passing that down to our children in terms of those preferences, in terms of the self-hate, because of the treatment of, our family. So this is a little deep on that end, but again, there's definitely an intentional, concerted effort to do away with some of that programming.
Right.
So Gail said, my daughter had a crush in middle school and the boy told her she was too dark for him. Ever since that, she feels her darker skin makes her less beautiful. It's made worse than her older
sister, maybe.
It's light skin.
Light skin. Yeah.
Wow.
And to go back, I think what David was saying, a lot of times, like you said, the grandmother was actually darker than all of them. Mm-hmm. And I think just unconsciously, the grandmother was treating them how she felt like the world was going to treat them. Mm-hmm. She was going because she sees the preference, and grandma, she lived back in that time. So she may even seen, a lot more than what we're talking about right now, because who knows when she was born. But she was treating them probably how she felt like society is going to treat them, unconsciously going ahead and perpetuating the whole thing we're talking about right now in a negative form.
So Dan just wrote a book. Colorism.
Thank you, Dan.
My youngest son made his decision not to date Black girls as a preteen because of the Black women that was in his life and him experiencing being around loud Black girls. And a good friend of mine is Blacker than Midnight, and he only dated light-skinned women, never Black women. And now he is married to a Dominican white.
Wow. Well, I know I had that issue with my older son, and we did have a talk because I was like, why you only want to date white girls? I was like, when your mama Black, and he said some of the same things that Dan said. He was like, only Black girls I know, they're loud. He was like, they wear weave. He was like, they garden tools. I mean, he just went on. But the moment that brother got to FAMU, let me tell you, he had been married about 3 times. And he was like, Mom, you are so right. I would always say, Austin, there are beautiful African-American, young ladies that are intelligent, I said, and that are not loud, and when he got to FAMU and he saw that, it's no turning back for him now. So maybe Dan's son could have been, because that's all who he was around. He went to all white, predominantly white schools, and that was all he was around, kind of all he knew. But I had to talk to that brother because I'm sorry, I wasn't going to be able to stand for that.
Yeah, I think environment does play a big role, Jaquitra. I think you said it. I think once you get exposed, like if you actually travel out and go like all over the world, and like FAMU, when you got like a diverse mix of everybody there, and you start seeing like, wow, I think it kind of opened people's eyes up. A lot of times you just going by what you see in your environment and your surroundings.
So David has a comment that I can recall from, again, grade school. So these are all kind of school age, thoughts that I think we are introduced to. But he says some people say if you are dark skinned, then you need to marry lighter skin or white to have pretty babies. I know that was something that I used to hear, folks about. So,
and what people still do it now when they see two people light skinned and they got curly hair, or one got this color eyes, they'll say, "Ooh, they gonna have some pretty babies." And I'm just like, how you know? Because I've seen some pretty people have some not so pretty babies.
Like you said, how you know? It's just a perception. That's what it is. Perception. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So Marcus completed homework. He said just got off the phone with him. He wanted red balls years ago, but couldn't get one. Now he's happy because he can get them now.
Okay. First, Marcus, I want to give you like the star, because you are like a pupil, like, student. You're the kind of student that every teacher wants, okay? Because you didn't wait to do your homework assignment. You got right on it. So kudos to you.
Marcus, he did. You know how some people, they do their homework at school. They don't wait till they get home. They do their homework at school.
I love it. But Marcus, Marcus, you should have, I wish you could have recorded it, put it on speakerphone and recorded it so I could play it back later. But so he basically is just happy because he can get one now. But okay, Marcus, I'm going to take it a step deeper. When you talk to him again, don't do it now. But when you talk to him again, ask him, is it everything that he thought it would be? And the comparison between dating the red bone now and dating the other women that he dated in the past. So do all of that homework for us, okay? Not now. That's extra credit.
At the end of the day, women are women and men are men, no matter the color.
Yeah, I agree.
And my thing is, your character makes you, it could actually make you ugly or make you pretty. Or make you beautiful. Your character and what you stand for and who you are, your personality. Is that like you can have who some people may say the prettiest person, the most beautiful person, but if they attitude stink, if they character stink or they lie, they cheat, things like that, it doesn't matter.
Dan better come with the song.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. But Nick, you're absolutely correct. But I do think that it is an issue in our community, not just in dating, but just an issue altogether. So so I think that that's something that we definitely need to discuss and really kind of get down to it, because a lot of times we don't want to ask why. And I do think that when we find out why, some of the answers might be shallow, like Marcus' friend. But some of them could be because of it's just been passed down and that's all that they know, but you're right. We need to take more time to get to know people. And I know my experiences have taught me that it definitely has nothing to do with the color of someone's skin, but definitely how they treat you, and their character and how they make you feel.
I was immediately turned off by any woman I met. I was immediately turned off if they had a bad attitude or they character sucked. I don't care how good it looked. It was just immediately turned me off because I already knew that was a bunch of drama anyway. That's something I can't deal with. You're going to disturb my peace. So didn't need that.
Yeah.
So Archie had a really good point. Trust, integrity, loyalty is the color of choice.
I like it, Archie.
Oh, that's good, Archie. Thank you.
I love it. All right. So David says, definitely agree with you, Nick, on personality matters. And then we got Pamelia on here. She's loving all the red, and she would because she is a Delta. So
Thank you.
Thank you,
it's
Amelia.
for
It's for World AIDS Day.
Yes. All right. Any other comments?
So then we beat that one up. So we gave Marcus homework. We gave him extra credit, an extra credit assignment. But I do wish that if someone, they can chime in at a later time about it.
Okay.
Gold
Drop
star
some
for Marcus.
experiences that you've had. Yeah, gold star for Marcus. I think Marcus get a gold star actually on every live.
Mhm.
We got you said one time for the World AIDS Day red. Whoop, whoop.
What's up, Dr. Asha?
All right. So let's move on. Hold on. Marcus said, oh, Familiar said people like what they like. Some people like green apple, some like red. Nick, I experienced the same thing and was turned off too. So
Immediately.
All right. So
Yeah, but before you get to know a person, they're outside all of their looks. That's what attracts you to even want to get to know them.
Of course.
You know.
Of course.
So
right. And so then that personality got to check out. You know, once we face to face, now I got to check out. And they don't check out, don't matter.
Yeah, but some people have gotten to where if they just don't like a dark skinned person, they won't even give them the time of day for them to even
Very shallow. Yes.
For them to even get to know whether or not they would want to move further with getting to know them.
I think there's some soul searching internal things they have to do also as well to see why they like that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I think like what Monica said with the history, there has been so much, you know, from slavery that has been passed down to us, our race, that we really need to address, you know, and be open to just having those discussions. Some of those things are just hard for people to tackle. And, you know, they just can't say, because my mama said only like dark skinned men, you know, but oh, well. Okay, Nicole, I know you want to move on. Next question. I'm sorry.
Even though there hasn't been an agreement to end the relationship, how do you know it's time to move on? How do you know when it's time to move on? So we're talking about relationships that are not necessarily contentious, meaning like you didn't catch them cheating, you didn't catch them, you know,
or her cheating.
You said it was just nothing. It wasn't anything. It wasn't. I mean, because to me, there's always something. It may not have to be.
No. I'm not saying that it is. I shouldn't say there isn't anything, but there's nothing contentious.
Okay.
From the standpoint of, you know, infidelity or I don't know.
You just don't like them because they didn't let the toilet seat down. They stopped letting the toilet seat down.
See, but that's something though. But it's like that's when you don't even know. Like you just sitting here like, man, just end it. You know what happened?
Yeah, you just wake up one day and be like, ugh, you pass gas all the time. I can't take it anymore.
So Nicole, do you mind repeating the question, please?
I do not mind. Even though there hasn't been an agreement to end the relationship, how do you know it's time to move on? How do you know it's time to move on? So David said, when your peace is disrupted more times than not.
David took the words right out of my mouth. Peace is big for men. Yeah, it's probably for women too. So, cuz?
That's your cousin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's up, cuz?
What's up, Keith?
What are you going to say, Nick, about the peace? Because I know that it is.
David took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, when you get to a certain, I don't want to say maturity, but I'm going to say it, right? When you get to a certain level of maturity, you value peace more than anything. So it's like anybody that's actually I guess hindering your peace. And my thing is, I'm not saying you got to bring peace to me, but don't disturb mine. So that's the thing. So when my peace is being disturbed, I just know we ain't gonna click and you're not gonna be the right person for me. And that's friends, that's anybody.
Okay. Archie said, time to move on when everything starts to feel and seem uncomfortable. Let's talk about that. Let's explore that a little bit, because
I was gonna say that sounds like one you got to go deeper on.
You gotta unpack that one. You gotta unpack that one.
Let's explore that a little bit, because in our next question, which is on closure, I think that oftentimes people aren't as open or willing to be, honest or their true selves maybe in relationships. And it's not until maybe after the fact that they feel like they can be. And I don't know why that is. Is it fear of judgment or fear of, feelings of inadequacy or
Maturity, lack of maturity,
or just a lack of comfortability with that person? Maybe, I don't know. I would love to hear from folks to know why that is, why, everything would be feeling uncomfortable.
Nicole, I think you hit it. I think it's all the above, but more. I think that people refuse to deal with their issues. But at the same time, they still want to have relationships. So they want to go from the next relationship to the next. And so they're not going to reveal the things that they know is going to be a turnoff, because they probably was a turnoff for the last person they were met or they were with that didn't work out. And so they're going to wait until they got you, or they feel like that you have that oxytocin, that dopamine in the brain. Your judgment is altered. They're going to wait till your judgment is altered, and then you become emotionally attached before they actually start unraveling the things that's wrong with them. Because they feel like then I could be myself and you're not going nowhere, or the decision you make is going to be hard because you're too emotionally attached to leave.
Nick, you own it tonight, brother. I just want to let you know you hitting all the marks. You own it tonight.
Thank you,
but Javon said something, Nicole, I think that I loved and agree with. They said when you are happiest when they aren't around.
That's good. I like that. I like that. And that's a self-evaluation. That's just a self-evaluation when you realize that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Gail's comment is worth mentioning as well too, when you don't see your future with that person.
Right.
Oh yeah. But I think that one is easy at our age now. I think you can identify that one early on, very early on.
But listen, I think that oxytocin, it had your mind messed up.
Yes. Yes.
So, I think it should have used to, but I think that we're at the age now where we shouldn't allow that to mess us up so bad now. You
shouldn't, but see, Deketra, it's still worth the same.
I know how powerful it is, hey, been there, done that. But I think now when you recognize all the red flags, when you love your peace, when you know what you want, when you know what makes you the happiest, it should be ain't no dang-a-lang or cootie cat that good that's going to keep me with that person. I'm thinking where we are now. That's just me.
Right.
I know how powerful oxytocin is. Right. It is. I think it has made people stay in relationships longer than they should have, definitely, for sure. Mm-hmm. And it has made people ignore a lot of the red flags, mm-hmm. But when you start thinking about, okay, I have done my soul searching, I know what I want. After a while, with our age, that shouldn't be that powerful anymore. That's just my thought. I just turned a year old, so now I'm thinking differently.
I totally agree with you, but I think it goes a little deeper also, because it depends on how much time you spent with that person. Now you start thinking about investment. How much time I invested in this person? How many resources have I invested? How much time? So now I'm doing a cost benefit analysis now. Now I'm looking at all the pros and cons. And am I going to lose out if I leave this person now? Or am I going to continue just to gain things, or I'm okay with where I'm at? So it gets a little deeper too as well.
That's true. That part is true, but
so Dan said it's time to move on when you start speaking to that person with that look. That look, that frown.
Right. Well, everything they say too, Dad, it's just like, what? You just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Why like you look you looking at them like, why are you even talking? Like, what? They just asked you what you wanted to eat. Like, why are you even talking?
Wow.
Look, Dan, I'm with you. I know that look.
So Dr. Asha said, when you're a better person without them, that's when it's time to move on.
Or you feel as if, I know for me, because when I was married, we had accumulated a whole lot of stuff. For me, I was so fed up that I didn't care. I was willing to just say, forget it. I said, you can have everything. I walked away with nothing. So for me, it wasn't about a return on investment. It wasn't about this and that material things. I was like, I didn't care. I wanted to just be gone, be over with that person.
Nice. So Archie said, after 50, your patience isn't the same as before the age of 50. We should be in the team building mode. I want to be in love with the conversations, the person's presence, and be excited about every tomorrow. Beautiful.
Archie, I like you. I like your responses.
You got Archie poetic right there. It's poetic.
But I love what he's saying, because that's absolutely true. I mean, to be in love with someone, that speaks volumes, because you can weather the storm when you're in love with someone. When you want to be happy to look at them the next day. You don't want to drive home from work and then drive around the whole city about 5 times, and then you'd be like, dang, I gotta go home. Shucks. And I hope he sleep, or I hope she sleep. You don't want that type of relationship.
Very true.
So it's something that I was reading and doing some research on about emotional piggy bank. And it's like you have to make a lot of deposits. And they talk about a relationship that usually lasts. You got to make a lot of deposits. So whenever you have to make a withdrawal, which let's just say is a big argument, it doesn't bankrupt you. You see what I'm saying? That one big argument, if you don't have no deposits, no love deposits, and then you have one big argument and you're already like low, that's going to bankrupt the whole relationship. That's when people normally break up. The ones that last are the ones that actually have a lot of deposits, love deposits in there, so they can handle these little conversations or arguments that may come forth, and it don't end the whole relationship.
All right. So David said, I slept on the floor in a 1-bedroom apartment, having moved from a 5-bedroom home, and had the best sleep I had had since being in the marriage.
David, I'm giving you a high five right now, brother. That was show me. I'm giving you a high five.
Now listen, what David is saying, that's also, man, I read that in the Bible. It said a man would rather be on the top of a roof than stay in the house with a woman that's like continuing that like a leaky faucet.
That's it. Yes. Amen.
Oh, he's like, man, I just rather be on a roof, like in the cold weather, just to be in the house. And I know it talks about, it didn't really say a woman. I mean, he just talked about anybody, really. So
right, because that was me. I was that woman. Yeah. 2 houses, cars, everything. Right.
It's all right, David.
We knew that lower meant floor.
All right, good deal. So folks are saying, when their peace is disturbed, when they feel like they are happiest without the person, when every time they're with them they're uncomfortable, when they're better without the person. So I think folks have identified, when it's time to move on. Seems like we're pretty clear on that, and not to let the oxytocin get the best of us.
Yes.
All right, good deal.
Which does wear off, by the way. It will wear off. The oxytocin does wear off.
It does.
Yeah, in time, everything wears off.
Yeah, over time. The honeymoon stage, that goes away.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So our next question is, when breaking up with someone, is it important to get closure, or is each person responsible for their own closure?
Man, that's a good question. That's a
darn good question.
It's so many layers to that. So many layers.
It's a lot of layers to that. So I think I sent y'all a video, or one of y'all sent a video on that, because we were talking about how in this video someone spoke that it's up to us to get closure. We're responsible for getting closure. But I want to say there was a little validity to that. But also, for me personally, I think I would want to have the closure. I think that I would want to have the discussion with that other person to bring some form of closure, just because I think there's a lot of lessons that can be learned when you do have that conversation, because sometimes you don't know if you did something wrong, and I think it can be beneficial for you going forward into your other relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me, I guess because I want to remain friends with my exes. So I think that's one good way too, to have that.
So I agree, Joketra. I've had an opportunity to have closure after a relationship. And it actually occurred some months, and actually it probably was close to a year afterwards, but it was good to kind of flush out some of the things that I had thought about him and hear his perspective about me. And I think it made for a better relationship, a better friendship afterwards. Like I said, it's amazing how sometimes in these relationships just don't, for whatever reason, have these conversations. And of course, back then I was much younger and immature at the time as well, I believe, to some extent. But I think in maturing, you're open and willing to have those types of conversations. I think oftentimes in this, we've already kind of separately had this discussion. Oftentimes people feel like when they're no longer in a relationship, there has to be this, um, these bad feelings or this aggression or this contention. And that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. We just decided not to have that type of relationship anymore. And it's okay.
So I was doing a little research on that, and I would first say it is that I think we are responsible for our own closure. But let me couple that with this: is that usually in a relationship, if one person is in the dark, then that means the other person probably broke it off for whatever reason. The reason why it's unfair and the reason why people want closure to the other person, because the person that actually breaks off their relationship, they already had in mind why they did it. So they have an idea why they actually are leaving. But you leave the person that's in the dark without any indication of knowing what really happened. So they can't really put that past, present, and future together to realize, like you said, Joketra, what happened? Did I do anything wrong? Because I don't want to take this baggage of mistakes I made to this next relationship. So they don't get a chance to form their own story because they were just left in the dark. So that's why that closure is important for a lot of people. But again, some people will withhold the closure because they want you to feel that way. They want you to feel bad, and they want you to feel like it's your fault. And it's also like a little power struggle too. And at the same time, a lot of times they don't want to admit that they were wrong, so they won't give you the closure at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, good point, Nick.
That was good.
That each person is responsible for their own ultimately. I say that because you may not agree with their reason. If it's in a healthy spot, then closure with conversation is great. So
I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm. So David commented and said, I think closure is hard to get when you have one that is not ready to close the relationship. That's when the one that is not done starts with the I will work on this or work on that. But at that point, when you're done, it's no longer about working on anything but packing up their things, or you pack up your things.
Well, listen, that is definitely true, David. But I think for me, if you because I know Archie had mentioned about depends on the time invested. Listen, I think closure is good if you'd have told them all your secrets.
Oh, that's a good, you know what? That's a good topic. I don't know if we've talked
You know
about
what I mean? Because if you don't get that closure and you done told them all your deep, dark secrets, the whole world might know.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, Nick is bringing the fire, Marcus.
He is. So Asha has a comment. She also wrote a book. She said, I'm with Nick. I've only been the one broken up with, not the one doing the breaking. Each time the breakup snuck up on me, it wasn't until a year or more after each one I learned what really happened. It helped me grow, but the lack of closure until that time was not there. Also, I'm not friends with anyone I've dated. If you can't communicate why this is over, then how can I expect you to communicate as a friend? Also, each person has come back to apologize a year or more later. Wow.
Wow.
That felt good. That's good, Doc. And I know that felt good too, because it kind of gave you a little closure to know that, hey, it wasn't me. They came back and apologized.
Closure shouldn't be an aha moment or a finger pointing moment.
It shouldn't be.
Okay.
You say it shouldn't be, right?
Javon said, "Your teacher ain't lying."
Right.
Hey, I try not to.
But you know what?
All right.
A lot of times, and I know we said this before, and I agree with this. So we may say, hey, you know what? You're responsible for your own closure. And I think most people just said they agree with that. The thing is, though, what if someone don't know how to get it? So to say that you're responsible for your own closure without giving them guidance is also dangerous. And also it can make it worse because I don't know how to get closure. I'm responsible for it. So it's almost like, again, I'm blaming myself because you telling me I'm responsible for my own closure. I don't even know how to get it. I don't have no guidance. So there's a lot of people don't know how to move forward.
Mm-hmm. So
it's a song that goes to that, but I can't think of it right now. I'm gonna have to
you get it later. It'll come back to you.
So Pamela said, I really wonder how one person can be unhappy enough to leave and the other party says they were blindsided.
Oh, you hear the stories. I hear stories where people have been married for years, and then that other person just get up and like they had a midlife crisis.
They pack a bag.
Hey, there have been books written about that, movies about that. It can happen, Hey, there are some people living in a household with their spouse and all the signs that they're cheating are there, and they still act like they don't know.
Right. One movement is Harlem Night. Hey, put your mom on the phone. Hey.
Sunshine.
Right. Never coming home.
Right. It can happen. It really can. Indeed. Because people change their minds and things are thrown at people. Sometimes you just don't know. You think you know a person, and then all of a sudden you'd be like, who was that I was living with and sleeping with?
Right.
So it can happen.
It can. So let's see. Marcus said, what does it mean when most exes want you back?
I think that's a number of things, because lately I've been having conversations with some of my exes. And I think that sometimes as you age, you realize, okay, this person wasn't so bad for me, or I only want to talk to the people that I already know. I grew up with them. I know their character. I know their family. So I only kind of want to deal with that person. Or it could be some other reasons, Marcus. Is that your case, Marcus?
I think it's a good question. Go ahead, Jaketra.
No, go ahead, Nick. Nick, you've been on it. I want to hear from you.
No, I just thank you. Marcus, I think that's a real good question. And I think a lot of times what happened is that person truly didn't know who they were. So when you were with that person, they didn't really recognize and even appreciate what you brought to the table. So when they go out, and it's sad it has to happen this way, they have to meet a whole bunch of other people that don't live up to what you were, not as mature, not as established, and they realize I had something good. But because they didn't realize that, because they wasn't in the right place in their life, and I could just say they weren't mature enough to realize that, now they say, you know what, I had something good and I want you back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also could be that you two parted ways and there really wasn't any closure.
True. All right. So David said, selfish in some instances. They are getting what they want, and that's all that matters to them. It doesn't matter that you are not getting what you need.
Now that's where David's comment is replying to whose comment or what question?
Sorry, I got lost. in it all.
There might have been something in the chat. You know, David,
Yeah.
if you could clarify who you're responding to, or
All right. Dan said, but then there are a lot of people who don't know how to let go, regardless of coaching them through the ending.
Dan, that's true. I can look. I can give you all the tools, but you still got to apply them.
That's that oxytocin. That's when they
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Oxytocin?
Yeah. The brain still altered. It's a drug.
Wow.
they determined they ain't gonna give up.
Right. Determined. All right.
But listen, Dan, I think in that case, at least you tried. You know what I mean? You didn't just ghost them or walk away. You at least
That's all
tried.
you can
You did your part.
That's all you can do.
That's it.
Because at the end of the day, it's up to them to kind of walk away. Then it's up to them. And that's when it becomes your heart or your will has to be stronger than your heart.
Siobhan said Nick drunk all the wisdom juice.
He did. He drank something tonight.
Thank you, Javon.
All right. David said when the person is blindsided.
Oh, okay.
When the person is blindsided about not knowing the other person is not happy. That's what he was referring to.
Okay, now put his other comment back up now that we know.
Hold on. Selfish. Hold on.
Yeah,
Selfish in
that
some
was-
instances, they are getting what they want, and that's all that matters to them. It doesn't matter that you are not getting what you need.
Yeah.
All right. Dan, Nick, Nicole, and Jokichi, y'all miss talking to us. Y'all are on point tonight.
We do
excuse
miss
me,
y'all, Dan.
What you trying to say? We haven't been on point tonight. I mean, before in the past.
We've been slipping, I guess. We've been slipping or something, I guess. We've been having
No,
guests,
I'm
man.
saying-
We've been letting our guests talk. We've been having a lot of guests. We've been letting our guests talk.
That's it, Nick. That's it.
No, Dan just ain't been on in a while. He's been missing the
No,
nap.
Dan has been on. Yes, he has.
Okay.
But we have had guests, and these are some really good questions, Dan. And you haven't been giving us any questions, so we need some more of your questions too, Dan.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Dan is
Okay.
laughing at us. All right. Archie said we get comfortable and lose the appreciation of what we had. When you realize it's too late, then that's when, in most cases, you took their value for granted.
Oh, that's good. So that's in reference to Marcus' question about your exes when they want to come back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, that's better than the ex don't want to come back because
Right.
we know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
You were trash.
Oh man.
Oh goodness.
Maybe they wanted to come back, but they wasn't man enough or woman enough to tell you that because of pride.
Mm.
Or they knew that they couldn't come back.
Yeah, maybe they knew they could come up. You're right. Yeah. They see your Facebook status, right? Interest. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Really? Really? Archie. They got stuff for that, don't they? Some powder, some soap.
Oh,
Oh,
Socks.
was that a trash can?
that was a trash can. You said they was trash. So all right, we got Miss Mia on. Yes, Mia.
What's up,
You
Mia?
Yeah, you missed like 3 questions.
and we got Rob.
Listening, I was busy.
Yes. All right, good deal.
Well, Mia is an hour behind, so that may be the reason why too.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh goodness, that was
All
funny.
right. So any other comments regarding closure.
Closure and Marcus' comment about when the exes want to come back.
When the exes want to come back.
You know what? I think we could do something funny on that one right there, where you can have some stories being told about that one. Like, because how do you respond when an ex want to come back? Like, do you tell them, excuse me, if we broke up before, why would I want to get back with you now? Or, if they say, well, hey, I have matured, this is where I've changed. And there are times though, when you do have an ex that really has matured and they have shown you that they've matured and they, the relationship really wasn't that bad. So there might be an opportunity for you two to get back together.
Yeah. It takes a mature person though to kind of accept that person back, because you got some people that may say you can come back on my terms though, because you messed up. And so that could be a power struggle and vendetta too.
But it has happened though. I mean, you've heard stories where people say, oh, we dated in college and he married this person and I married this person. And then we just saw each other at some reunion and we just reconnected and it was just meant to be.
Right. But also you have the cases too, if it didn't work out for whatever reason because the person cheated, then if you do come back, you have to wonder, are they going to cheat on me? You probably in the back of your head, like, why they let me back? Especially if it's too easy. It's like, you know what? They just let me back so they can cheat on me and get me back. So that may be bothering you too in the back of your mind as well.
Okay. Archie's a Scorpio and I'm a Scorpio. So, that would be the conversation that we would have.
Trouble. Trouble. All right. Speaking of exes. Wait a minute. Hold on. Roz got
don't name no names.
Was it decided that closure was a necessity or optional?
Okay, Nick, give Roz the breakdown on what we decided for closure.
So, Roz, we had a consensus that you're responsible for your own closure, but it is important to kind of have guidance and know how you're going to get that. It's unfair to tell somebody you're responsible for your own closure, but if they don't have friends or know how to get it, then it can make it even worse. But I think everybody pretty much agreed that you're responsible for your own closure. You can't really depend on anyone else to give it to you because they may be holding that back as a power struggle. So you will never get that. Also, a lot of times it's not fair to the person that maybe got blindsided in a relationship because they don't get a chance to really realize what happened in a relationship. So the person that actually breaks it off, they may not never tell you. So you may not never get closure. So just try to sum it up real quick.
Nicole, tell your ex not to be calling you while you're on the live.
He said, don't be talking about me.
He about to be an ex around here calling while I'm on the live because I told him I had a live yesterday.
He said, don't be talking about me.
Tell him you need to have been on the live, okay?
Right. Anyway, so speaking of exes, that's a great segue to our final question of the evening, which is it wrong to break up with someone during the holidays? And if not, should you still get them a gift?
It's like, how close to Christmas are we? How close to Christmas?
Ooh, it's the first, y'all. Y'all still got time to break it off. I'm telling you. Once you get around the 15th, it's gonna be a little. It's gonna be.
You owe them a gift, then Nicole. You said after the 15th, they owe the gift. Like,
well, I'll say this: if your mate love language is receiving gifts, if that's their number one love language, you need to go ahead and tell them now.
That's true. That's true. They expect the gift.
Matter of fact, even if y'all break up, they still expecting a gift. So
they would tell you what they wanted in around Thanksgiving or earlier.
Oh, there's finalization though. All right, so Raj was still talking about the closure.
Yes, Raj. But Raj, you're correct. If you're mature enough, there should be some finalization. Definitely.
Yes. All right, so Johnny Johnson is on here, and he said, "Does the Love Innovator offer closure advice?"
Yes, we do, Johnny. We offer all advice.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and Johnny,
give me a call, Johnny.
Yeah. Well,
so Johnny, you got somebody you need to close it up with?
Johnny, I can help you close the deal, baby.
Can you go ahead and give one good closure advice for the people, and then tell them to call you for the other ones?
So I think if you have two mature, I have to say mature individuals, I think you should be able to have a decent conversation about why it did not work. That's in a perfect world, I think that's how it happens. But a lot of times it's contentious, and so you may not get that opportunity. So what it becomes is a bunch of bickering back and forth and a bunch of arguments, and then someone just say I had enough, because what we talked about before, disturbing their peace, and they can't continue to do this. So it ends ugly a lot of times. But in a perfect world, how we would like it to go, you actually sit down and have a good conversation, and you just really, really have to be honest with the person and let them know that it's not working. That's what you have to do. It's hard to do, but you really have to do that just to be fair.
Can I give one too?
Yes, please.
And you could tell me if you like this one, Love Innovator, because I just shared this with someone Saturday night. I think that you should tell the other person, why don't we make a list of the things that we like about each other and the things that we don't like about each other. And if the list that we don't like about each other is longer than the other list, we might want to talk about if we need to continue this relationship.
I love that, because that's also something that I actually seen in marriage counseling. They actually do that. So,
oh, really?
Yes, they do that when it comes to should we get a divorce or not. They list all the pros and cons, and we hope that the pros outweigh the cons, and so then they make a decision. Yeah, yes, they do that.
Well, I did that, and that's what I shared with this young lady, to do that, and it definitely helped for me. Right. So I didn't think about sending the singing telegram, but that could be one too.
All right. So back to the
question.
Up. Yes. So you said if you go ahead, they got time to get a new boo.
If you want to do it early.
All right. Asha said all my exes live in Texas. And Ross said the breakup is a gift.
Well, I think, here's my thing. If God purposes on your heart to give a gift to them, then you should get the gift, and not expect a gift in return, because that's something that God put on your heart to give them. You just need to determine if it's a gift that's going to make them think, oh, we together. Or, if it's just hey, it's Christmas, I just wanted to appreciate you or whatever. But if God puts it on your heart, then give them a gift. It won't hurt it. That's not like it's going to kill you.
Right. And I think that's good, Jaquita. And I think also you got to be, you got to be, you got to be careful about the timing of the gift. And the reason why I say this is because if you're going to break up with this person and you go ahead and get them a gift, they may think everything good. They got me a nice little gift. So I think the timing also matters as well. So I think, and we go back to the mature individuals, if you actually break it up with this person and you still get them a gift, you're almost saying, you know what, no hard feelings. You know what I'm saying? No hard feelings or anything like that. It just didn't work out. But it's not like I hate you. And I still got you a gift because, it just didn't work out.
Well, do people not write? I guess I like to write cards. And I like to express my feelings to a person, and I don't mind just putting it all out there, because when you walk away, I want for them to clearly understand why, and I want to feel good about the walk away. So I would get them a gift and then put a card in there just to kind of say, I always, admired you. I do love you. If you ever need anything, blase, blase. But I just think that's the nice thing to do, because we're just grown 8 people.
Right. All right. And that's the right way. I would say that's the right way to do it, Jaquita. And also at the same time with that card, if you throw it in there a little bit about what didn't work out, that gives them something to work on too. Now they can't even forget what you said. They can go back to the card. Like, what Jaquita said, I need to work on this. Let me pull out the card.
Yeah, that'll probably be 2 cards. Actually, I sometimes type a letter and put the letter in the card.
They go back and read it over and over again and say, you know what, I need to work on these.
Wow. So that's a twofer. They not only got a gift, but they got closure as well.
They got closure as well. That's why it didn't work. Yeah. Now they don't have to wonder. They could put their life back together. They know what happened. They could try to, hopefully they can, if it's something they could work on it and try to be better for the next person.
All right.
Now hold up. Johnny said, what if your interest
has changed?
Okay, when you say interest has changed for
I mean, that's why you breaking up in the first place, I believe.
Yeah, give us a little clarity, Johnny.
Yeah, just to make sure, because if your interests are changing, you better get them a gift.
Hmm. So you give them a gift while you're breaking up? That's what Camellia is asking.
Well,
it's so many factors.
I guess in that case, the gift is a part of the breakup.
I don't want to be with you anymore, but here's this nice parting gift.
It's this nice parting gift, right?
But I mean, it could be in stages. You know what I mean? Because if you're at the point to where you're breaking up with someone, or you know you're going to break up with someone, and it's around the holidays, you can start having conversations about that. Why not just say, "Hey, honey, let's not give each other gifts this year. You know, let's not do that. It's COVID. You know, why don't you say, why don't we just give to a charitable organization? You could get away. It's a number of ways that you can get away with that.
You better nest that thing, Joketra.
Hey, I'm just being grown about it. You know what I mean? What's wrong with having the conversation, you know, about it? Because the reality is some people are not gung-ho on getting gifts during Christmas times. There are some people that don't celebrate. So depending on your spouse, and if you know your spouse well enough, you can kind of or mate, you can kind of cater it to that.
Marriage yet, is
I know, that's why I had to change it. Not spouse, but mate. Your mate, your significant other.
Trying to break up with you because I don't want to marry.
So you know what I meant. The person that you getting it on with, or you know, smooching on, loving on, whatever.
All right. So Ross said, if you plan a discussion and someone close to the other party dies suddenly, can you still break up? That's a true story. She's not lying. That's a true story.
You saying because I'm gonna let Nick.
That's a good question, Ross. And I think right now, with that question, you just being very, very empathetic to that situation. The thing is, though, after that person is buried in the ground, y'all still got that same issue. So it's like, I cannot, again, I have to go back. I cannot sacrifice my peace. I may even come to the funeral, who knows, just to show them that, hey, I just want to pay my respects because I knew them too. But that's still not going to make y'all situation any better. You're still going to have the same issue. And you may even be dealing with more because they may even be grieving that person that they lost. So it's like, it's not going to make your situation any better.
That actually happened to me. And why you stickering to go? But I really didn't know how to handle it, but I needed for him to know that we are not together. You know, I mean, we're not going to be together. I was like, I'll go with you to support you. You know, I'll pray with you. You know, I'll do whatever, console. But I didn't even go to the funeral because I was like, I don't want for his family to be thinking, oh, it's this way when it's not that way. You know, I mean, the funeral wasn't in town, but I didn't travel to go down to the funeral because I wanted it to be clear that we weren't going to be together. But I went to help pick out everything, made sure he was good, took him food, that sort of thing, and still checked up on him. But when it's time to break up, it was time to break up. I'm sorry.
I had a similar situation too. It's like I actually was going to break it off with a young lady, and her brother died, and I felt so bad. And I knew I was going to break up with her. I actually went to the funeral, and I felt so bad because it was a time when I know she needed me, but I knew it wasn't going to work out between us. And so I felt bad that even that I went to the funeral, but I was trying to be there for her. But at the same time, I knew it wasn't going to work out for her, and it was a bad time to do it. But I knew at the same time it wasn't going to work. So I had a conversation with her. It was a tough conversation, but I still had to have it because, like I said before, the issue still was there.
So since she was in that grieving process, you just let her go ahead and grieve the relationship, grieve the death, all of it.
I felt bad about it because my thing, I was thinking, no, I couldn't be there for her, and she needed somebody to be there, and I couldn't be there for her. I couldn't fake it.
Yeah, I guess I tend to agree with Asha. Sending a gift is not closure; it's confusion.
Right. That's what I said, Dr. Asha. It's like, when are you giving a gift? That's why I said the timing is everything if you're gonna do a gift. Because, like I said, you send a gift, and they may be like, all right, everything is going well, so that timing is everything.
All right. So David said, I'm still upset that I broke up prior to Daddy's Day because my ex had brought me a vintage Walter Payton leather jacket and made sure she broadcast she was looking or best price on selling the jacket. Yeah, that was planned. That was planned, man.
But you could have had somebody to bid on the jacket for you.
Mhm. Ross said, good answer. Glad I'm not alone. All right. Felicia said, a Visa gift card has never hurt nobody, regardless of the situation. He can get a little gas, pay a bill, or whatnot.
I'm there for you.
Yes. Not.
So Nick, when you mentioned timing, so it's December 1st. And so now we have 24 days. So what would you recommend it would be the best timing on this whole process?
I'm telling y'all before the 15th.
Nicole, you know what? Nicole, because I like the 15th, I like what you said. I kind of agree with you. Like before the 15th, like halfway, you know what I'm saying? Like the halfway mark, you need to go to be making a decision. I would say definitely by the end of November. You probably want to definitely nah, it ain't gonna work. Don't even go into the Christmas month. Just if you can. Don't even go into it. Yeah. But I agree, Nicole. If you still salivating back and forth trying to see what you're gonna do it, then hey, try to do something by the 15th. I like it. Okay,
but put a limit on the gift.
Yes, yeah. Put a limit on the gift now.
Anything from Tiffany's, get it from Wally.
Look, don't get nothing extravagant because they gonna that's gonna send mixed signals. Like Dr. Archer said, I'm confused. Right. You ain't never spent that much money on me.
Gail said, I'd rather a person be genuine with me. If you don't want me, I don't want your gift.
But I guess here's the thing for me. I think it really does depend on who you're dating, because if you're dating someone that loves gifts, if their love language is receiving gifts, then I think that you have to be mindful of that because they still may be expecting a gift. Because I've heard people say, that Negro could have at least gave me a gift.
Yeah. I can see that. It's the holidays,
And then, they're saying that around people because they want them to trash that person as if that person should have really gave them a gift, but they don't even know the situation. So I think it really depends.
The other part of that, I just thought about it. A lot of times that person already got you a gift too, so they're really upset because they didn't know it was coming.
Yeah. So if you're dating a person that loves the holidays, get excited about everything, and they probably get you a gift, I would rather just go ahead and have a conversation and be like, let's not do gifts this year. Let's not exchange gifts this year, or I don't want anything. Do you want anything? Right. And they say, you don't want something.
Hey, don't bob me nothing, but I got to talk to you later. All right.
Listen, if they start off saying that, you about to go. So Pamela said, if why wait? Say what needs to be said. Hold up. Is the gift a bottle of Creed?
Well, I think that's another thing that if you know a person, because sometimes people are in relationships with cray people.
Right. So they trying to see how to bring. Yeah.
And I know I've been there with someone that if you was going to bust a bubble at the wrong time, you might be 6 feet under.
Right. You know how I get around the holidays. You know how I get.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Lord.
Hey, so a little trivia.
Great.
A little trivia, y'all.
I'll take anybody who's baking a good sweet potato pie.
Goodness.
Boom. We should have known.
Because I did get one for Thanksgiving. Dan didn't make a pound cake, but I really want a sweet potato pie for Christmas. So that's what I want as a gift.
You got to get your inbox flooded with all kinds of sweet potato pies.
Homemade sweet potato pie.
Yeah. Hey, but a little trivia. So what month of the year do most breakups happen?
Valentine's Day. February.
Okay.
Is that right?
December.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I want to get that Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, so December. So they don't have to give Christmas or they don't have to give Valentine's Day.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So according to a study in 2008, most breakups happen in the month of December.
Okay.
So that means that people are still within that range because it's just December 1st. So between the 1st and the 15th, or did they say it was after the 15th?
They just said December, and I think it has a lot to do with not trying to get a gift for Christmas, and also you trying to start the new year off right. You don't even want to go into with that bad relationship, New Year's resolutions, all those type of things.
And some people break up the day of Christmas because they didn't get a gift.
That person really love gifts too. That's what their love language.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good to know. I always thought it was February, but it makes sense though, because you are really starting to think about getting your priorities in order.
Right.
And
New Year's resolutions,
the new year.
Should I get this person the gift? It's the holidays, and the holiday, you think about who you're going to spend it with. So you start thinking like, I don't want to be with this person no more.
You definitely don't want to be kissing on mistletoe.
So David said, if you have waited to break up till the holiday season, why not wait a few more days unless it's a matter of life or death?
But I think that depends on the person.
It does.
I mean, because what Nick just said with the trivia, that makes perfect sense though. It really does.
So Javon said, don't expect a relationship in December.
Well, that's not true. I know relationships start, people don't really care about that because I think that if you are just meeting someone, it's much easier for you to say to them, okay, we just met, so we don't need to give each other a gift. I'm not expecting a gift from you. That's when you could be sweet and be like, I'll just take a hug and a kiss,
Mm-hmm. Right.
What was the last comment, Nicole?
Asha was saying, according to a study, I like.
Oh,
Doc, I know you like that research. I had to say one for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it means you cannot call them for March Madness. You can't call them back for March Madness. You done broke up. Y'all are wow.
That's good. Very good.
That was good. And I think it's good that we did it enough time because had we waited till December 15th, it might have been too late for some folks. So Nick, getting some calls on I need some closure and breakup advice.
I got you, Johnny.
Mm-hmm. So Tina reason, hey Tina, she said, I've learned life is about making memories, not about material things. If it's not working, I'm not wasting time hoping things will change. With age comes wisdom.
That's right, Tina.
Tina, I love your name. Tina Reason. Yes. Give me the reason.
Tina Reason? That's what it is.
Tina Reason, Johnson Reason.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Her last name is
Reason.
Yes, y'all so
I love it.
So Tina lives here in Tallahassee and she works with veterans.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh. Well, we appreciate the work that you're doing because I know that is a huge feat, Tina.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
But she just echoed what we've been talking about all night, in terms of maturity and with age comes wisdom. So
right. That's why I always preface that. I was like, hey, it takes two mature individuals. And it's like, it sounds redundant, but it's the reason why I keep saying that, because you don't always have two mature individuals. You have one a lot of times, but the other one may not be there. So it takes two.
Right.
But let's not always confuse the age with maturity, because there are some people out there in age that are very much immature,
True.
Right. Yeah, that's why I say I never mentioned age. I say maturity. And that could be anything. That could be a 21-year-old.
So that's what we need to start asking someone instead of their age. Hey, you mature? What's your maturity age?
Well, I think what was it? I was at a marriage conference and they talked about don't ask about their IQ, but ask about their emotional intelligence.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing they said. They said your IQ doesn't change, but you can develop emotional intelligence, and that can improve throughout your life.
Yeah,
I agree with that, Nick.
Sure.
Look, what else you got for us? What other tip you
I
have
got a
for us?
lot, man. You know, we got to close it up though. But I went to a marriage conference, and I learned a lot. It was very good, and got a lot of research, and it was all research based, which I love research based stuff, evidence based stuff. So it was good.
Well, do you have any tips with us going into this holiday season for dating? Because I saw where someone said that no one is getting new booze in this COVID streets, and that's not true. There's a lot of new booze happening in these COVID streets.
It's that online is hot. It's happening, man. Look, yeah.
Yeah, I actually was reading an article last night where it talked about dating during COVID, and also it compared it to back, in the 60s and how dating was, and how after COVID happens, how dating is going to be. So that's like a big topic that's happening now, and I see all kind of hookups happening.
All right. So David wants to know, how do you work on emotional intelligence?
That's great, David. And I think that's a great question. First of all, I know it starts with just being, first of all, knowing who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, it's really hard to develop that emotional intelligence. Because knowing who you are, first of all, takes you becoming the best version of yourself, like I always say. Once you become the best version of yourself, continually work on that. And then you're going to also develop that emotional intelligence, being able to be real with yourself, knowing the deal breakers that we always talking about, wanting what you need. The thing I always talk about as well is that whenever you're dating, and so I go into your question, Jakitra. So whenever you're dating, it's just like any other sport, and we'll just talk about football. A coach always have a set of players, right? Or he have a scheme that he's trying to run. And what he does is that he try to pick the right personnel to put them in his scheme. He doesn't pick anybody. He knows what he's trying to do. So he knows what plays he's trying to run. So he picks the right amount, and he picks the certain type of player and plug them into his system. Whenever you're dating, you should always have a system before you even talk to anybody. You should have exactly what you're looking for to plug into your life. A lot of times what we're doing is that we try to get people that's not for us, that don't fit our system. We see it, and we already know what we need, but we like what they look like and everything like that. But this person does not fit our system. They're not gonna run the plays that we want to run. And I'm not saying you're trying to dictate a relationship. I'm just saying they don't fit you. And you should already know what you're looking for before you even go dating. If you don't have a system already in place, you shouldn't even be dating. You're not even qualified to do that.
David, I also think that's something that's good to Google.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think we lost Nicole.
Yeah.
I also think that you can go to the Bible to reference that too, about your emotional intelligence.
Right. And it's pretty much just dealing with your emotions. It's really dealing with your emotions and being able to be real with yourself, knowing the areas that you need to grow in, growth areas and things of that nature. And that's how you kind of build that, David.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick gave us tonight.
You threw the out route on that one.
That's a hot read.
Okay. So you got to make the touchdown.
Mm.
Okay, she said unqualified to date. Can't wait to say it. She said,
I guess you gonna tell somebody that you ain't even you unqualified.
Familiar.
I look familiar. I don't know if we need to be around here telling. Some people won't be able to take that if you say you are qualified to date. Their emotional intelligence will not allow them to receive that in the way it should be received.
A low EQ. All right, Johnny said, Nick, how many folks have a dating system?
That's what I'm saying, Johnny. You know what, Johnny? And that's a good question. I think not enough. And that's why you have all these breakups. And that's why you get people that get into relationships and they don't know how it's going to end. The thing is, you should kind of have a good idea how this thing should end, because you're plugging in the right people in your system.
And if you have a good dating system, it will help you weed out, and you won't spend so much time with the wrong person.
Exactly. It helps. It helps all the way around. Like you said, you keep the red flags, easily identify. You know what you need before you even go over there. Yeah, they're attractive, but they won't fit me. Character is not right. I know I like my my love gifts. I love gifts. You know, you love your love language. All those things. It's just working on yourself, becoming the best version of yourself. I can't say that dating is easy, but it makes it easier. Let's just say that.
Right. Well, it's definitely not easy, but I think that it helps you get to the hard questions really quick, fast, and in a
Right.
hurry.
Right. That,
it kind of stimulates the conversation.
and we in our process, yeah, it speeds that up.
Yeah. We don't got no time to waste. We getting up there in age. You can't be wasting nobody time.
Oh, date with a purpose.
There you go.
So I've written down at least 3 things that we can cover in the future.
Oh, that's good.
That's good, Nicole.
Good.
When your ex
You are so awesome, I tell you. I don't know if it's the red, or it's what Dan said, or if it's Mark making us be gold stars.
We're gonna say all the above. We're gonna say it's all the above.
I don't know. Red is
A,
Nicole.
B, and C. A, B, and C.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. All right. Well, very good. Well, any closing remarks from anyone?
We need to bring closure.
Well, I will definitely say yes, we need to bring closure. Yes, we do. Check us out on YouTube, Single in the City Where Kings Meet Queens. All of these broadcasts are housed there. If you don't want to go to our YouTube channel to catch the replay, you can catch it on there. And tell your friends to join us. We're here every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m.
Tell your enemies too.
Yes, tell your enemies too. Sometimes with a guest, and sometimes not. But with topics. If you have some topics that you'd like us to discuss, let us know. We'd be happy to take it up. If you want to be a single that's spotlighted, we've had single spotlights.
Yes.
Let us know.
Candidates.
Yeah. And I also, and I'm gonna throw this out here because somebody asked me about it, but we need to get this virtual speed dating going on. So we got to figure that part out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somebody.
Need enough candidates, like you said. Yeah, we definitely got to do that. I think that'll be awesome. We just need some candidates. So they need to start hitting us up in the inbox.
They do.
Yes, especially since we in these COVID streets.
Right.
Red Doc says the red.
Yeah, great discussion tonight. Thank you, David. So yeah, we would like to do something like that. Have a virtual dating game.
Yes.
Yeah, so speed dating, maybe. Figure out how we can do that. So if you're interested, let us know.
Well, how do you want them to let us know?
Well, I mean,
Erica.
Hey, Erica.
Thank you, baby.
Oh, do all the little. I'm gonna see you when I get home. Oh, I am home.
Come on in.
What was I going to say? I think everybody on here knows us individually, one or more of us. So just reach out, just let us know, or message us. Send us a message in the Single in the City Facebook page. We'll
drop my information also for Johnny. And
yes.
Drop my information for Johnny.
So y'all saw Roz's eyeballs about the single spotlight. I think she wants to be spotlighted.
It's up. Well, Roz, we would love to spotlight you.
I'm putting on the spot.
Our name Dan. We want to spotlight you too. Marcus, we want to spotlight you too. I can start calling them out.
We need enough for the definitely for the speed dating. We need several candidates and the spotlight also.
Yeah, I think it'll just be fun. You got to go into it, with no heavy expectations. We just gonna have some fun.
Keep it light and fun. Always, just like the first date, keep it light and fun.
Trying to put
and like I always say, you may not be good for me, but I may have a girlfriend that you're good for.
Hey, my thing is, you always on an interview with somebody. So it's like you said, it may not be the person in front of you you're interested in, but you're interviewing for somebody and somebody may see you.
Somebody may see you.
So look your best. Be your best.
That's right. Nick, I thought I
Yeah.
had it handy, but give me your number.
850
Mm-hmm.
792 6390. And also, you can put my email address,
Okay.
theloveinnovators
All right.
at gmail.com.
Got it. Got it. All right. So for those of you who are in need of some closure techniques, want to know about increasing your emotional intelligence, wanting to develop a dating system, contact the Love Innovators.
Gotcha. All the above. If you just want to learn how to date again, just hit us up. We hit help.
Yes.
Free consultation. The consultation is free. We'll devise a plan for you. We'll go through assessment, and we'll take it from there.
All right. Very good. Very good. And here's the email, theloveinnovators@gmail.com. All right. All right. So let's see. Lord Ross says she's a problem child. She is.
Some people like that, Roz. Some people like that.
And Roz, don't stop speaking negatively. You are not a problem child.
Mm. All right. Gail said my daughter. I'm not sure. Maybe she's saying her daughter for the
She's saying to spotlight her daughter.
Oh, gotcha.
There you go.
Okay.
So, look, Roz, I need you to know you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are beautiful, honey.
Go ahead, Deaconess.
Yeah.
I couldn't just let you, like, you know how I couldn't let you just hold it down by yourself tonight. We even says when 2 or 3 are gathered, right?
All right, good deal. So Roz is clapping. So thank you. All right, this has been great. We appreciate you. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the interaction. Let's keep these conversations going. And we'll see y'all in about 2 weeks.
What's the 2-week date? It is the 15th. The drop dead date.
Oh, look, we got to check in. That's going to be the follow-up. Hey, make sure you made all the
So that's what we gonna call it. We need to call it
15th. So the next show. Yeah. To check in. Everybody you need to get rid of, you need to make sure they rid of our next show. All right.
Right.
Yes. And we're gonna have a roll call. And yeah, we are from 35 on up.
Tina, So Tina, hopefully you caught that 35 up is our age limit. Although we have had some younger people on here, but 35 and up is our preference.
Yeah, I had to do that.
We got to get off of here. Y'all being silly now. Let's go.
Good night.
Good night.
We'll see you all next time. Yeah.